All right, time for another movies I've watched recently. This time I have here about 24 movies, I think. I was going to do just the regular 20, but then I thought, what the hell? Let's end with Charlie Chaplin. So I have 4 Charlie Chaplin movies at the end of it. But yeah, again, these are in no particular order, just all kinds of stuff that I watched. And yeah, let's start with this one because it's at the top of the pile. In the Aftermath is a zero budget sci-fi movie. It's a post-apocalyptic film. 72 minutes. Of that 72 minutes, probably around half is just footage from the anime movie Angel's Egg, which is one of the reasons why anyone knows about this movie or remembers it at all. Is just there's Angel's Egg stuff in it. I have to say, this movie is pretty damn bad. It's not great. It's just a couple of guys wandering around in a wasteland, wearing spacesuits, doing really nothing of interest or nothing interesting. And then there's Angel's Egg, like the girl with the egg and stuff, thrown in. Does it make any sense? Not really. I guess the funny thing about the movie is that they have an English dub for Angel's Egg here, like the scenes from Angel's Egg here, that make absolutely no sense. Like they just made up a dub for some of the scenes from the movie Angel's Egg. That has nothing to do with the original film. Like in this movie, that egg is an angel's egg. Like this girl is an angel, and that's an egg of an angel or whatever. Like, that's not from the original movie. Like, I was so confused. Like I was so confused. I had to Google. Does Angel's Egg actually have a English dub with this moronic voiceover in it, where they've basically rewritten the whole dialogue, all the dialogue and everything in the movie? Not really. I guess it's for this release, as far as I know. And yeah, it's not good. I wouldn't suggest anyone to watch this. I would give it a low, let's say 4 out of 10. I'll give it a 4 out of 10 because I like Angel's Egg. Angel's Egg is a phenomenal animated movie. Do I know what it's about? Absolutely not. But it is one of the most visually stunning works of all time. Just in any movie, any animation, any live action movie, Angel's Egg is up there with the greatest of all time, just in terms of the visuals and the shots, the design, everything. It is such a unique thing. So I love Angel's Egg. So I'll give it 4 out of 10 for having Angel's Egg visuals in it. Yeah, it's a ridiculous thing. Speaking of ridiculous things, I watched the sequel to the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And this one has George Clooney in it, which is one of the main things here. And yeah, it's a sequel to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Is it as fun as the original? Not really. I guess the problem here is that, one of my favorite things about this movie is that there's this tomato woman. So this woman is a tomato, as you can see. And there's this really hilarious romance plotline between her and a man who's a human. So there's a human tomato love side plot in the movie. What a time to be alive. But yeah, this guy also, this mime character. There is some classic stuff here. It's a fun one. It's really enjoyable. I like this one a lot. I like this as much as you can like a 6 out of 10 movie. One of the problems I have with this, well, the biggest problem I have with this movie is that the ending is just way too drawn out. And they brought back a bunch of characters from the original movie that shouldn't really be here. Just like they didn't serve really any purpose. There's no reason for you to bring them back in the second movie, because like this is an hour and 40 minutes. The first hour and 20 minutes, those original characters from the first movie, they don't really like do anything. Like most of them aren't even in like the movie at all before that moment, and then you bring them back for whatever reason. I don't know. Should have focused more on the new characters. And the old characters, like they don't really do anything with them in the ending either. They just are there because of reasons. Yeah. Also, another thing, like this is a horror comedy movie. It's one of those that's very heavily leaning on the comedy side, as you can tell from the mime character and the tomato woman. But there's some fourth wall breaking moments here, because during one of the scenes, like they cut in the middle of the scene, and because they ran supposedly out of money during filming, and then they have to start doing product placement. So the second half of the movie is full of product placement as this sort of gag parody bit. That's really funny, like cornflakes and stuff. I love the cornflakes product placement in this movie. Yeah, it's a good one. I'd give it like a solid 6 out of 10. Next up, something completely different. King of Beggars. I love Stephen Chow. He's one of the, like, he makes some of the dumbest movies ever made, but in a good way. Really fun comedy movies. And this is one of his sword fighting parody movies. King of Beggars. So there's this guy who comes from a really, really wealthy family, and then they lose everything, and then they have to kind of learn to live without the wealth, and yeah, all kinds of shenanigans happen. It's a ridiculously funny Stephen Chow. This is it's not quite as good as something like God of Cookery, which is still my favorite. No one has released it on Blu-ray. Why not? I have no idea. But yeah, it's not God of Cookery. It's not Fight Back to School, the first one. It's not even like Kung Fu Hustle. But it's like a second tier Stephen Chow movie. It's a good one. It's definitely something that I will watch again in the future. Yeah, there you go. Like a solid 7 out of 10. Another solid 7 out of 10 Stephen Chow movie. I have this still sealed because I watched the first movie from this set at a friend's place. So, Royal Tramp 1. This is again another sword fighting parody movie. This one is probably better than King of Beggars. It kind of depends what you like. King of Beggars is more, well, it's shorter, which is a good thing for these types of movies. But it's like that focus is also different. So King of Beggars is more focused on the comedy bits, and Royal Tramp also, yes, sure, but there is some like really, really over the top sword fighting scenes. King of Beggars has also some really nice action scenes in it, but this one, the ending battle where there are these people flying around and they have all these, what are they even called? They look like drum cymbals. I forget what they are in a movie, like these big metal plates kind of things. That fight scene is fucking insane in how, like, the choreography, the action, but also how well it has been executed. I don't remember a time where I've been impressed by a fighting scene in a Stephen Chow movie. That's an interesting one. But yeah, Royal Tramp, like these and King of Beggars, both are these are spoofs of these sort of Chinese wuxia, however you want to pronounce it, sword fighting, like historical period drama action movies. And for what it is, it's really enjoyable. It's like a solid 7.5. I don't know. A bit too long, at an hour and 50 minutes, but still. All right. Another Asian movie. This one, if someone likes this movie, this is probably like the time when someone will write an angry comment, because I didn't really enjoy this one as much as I was hoping I would. So I watched Decision to Leave, which is a movie by Park Chan-wook, the director of many great movies like Old Boy and the other revenge trilogy movies. This is from 2022, so a pretty recent one. And I just didn't get into it. It's kind of a police detective movie, I guess. The main character is trying to solve a crime, basically. And then stuff happens. It's very difficult to talk about this movie without spoiling anything, because it is reliant on twists, and I don't want to spoil the twists, so I'm not going to do that. But this movie is I think this is incredibly overrated. It's so pretentious. Oh my god. So first of all, one thing that I like about the movie is that it reminds me of the Hong Kong film Mad Detective, which is by Johnny To. That one is a fantastic police movie. And it reminds me of that movie because Decision to Leave reminds me of that movie because there is this blending of reality and something supernatural. There are scenes in this movie where the detective is kind of piecing together what happened in the past, and he is in the scene in the past, like watching things happen and stuff like that, kind of like in a Mad Detective. So I kind of appreciate that. But very quickly in this movie, you start to realize that it isn't really about the investigation at all. It's kind of an afterthought. Like that's the start. It's not an afterthought. It's a starting point, because this detective starts to fall in love with this woman. Like they're trying to figure out who killed the husband of this woman. And you start to realize that something is off with the woman, or maybe isn't. And the detective starts to get maybe a bit too close with the woman. And there's all kinds of mind games at play between these different characters. It's very difficult to talk about the movie without spoiling the whole thing. But yeah, there's another murder also. And the woman is also somehow involved in that case. And the detective starts kind of hiding stuff and gets involved in a case in kind of a criminal way. It's a strange one. But when the movie ended, let's jump to the end. I was just left kind of baffled, because in the end, like the whole movie is very simple. And I immediately had to like go to Google, just, is there something here that I didn't understand? Well, it's very possible that there still is, but is the movie really this simple? Because I was expecting something more, and I didn't get that. Because I got this police investigation movie where in the end there isn't really even anything to investigate. It's just obvious what happened. And all the characters, like, yeah, kind of the motifs are things that you have to kind of figure out, like, why did they do things or whatever. But the motifs are pretty fucking lame, I have to say. Like, for the woman, especially the ending. I didn't like the ending of this movie a lot. I thought it left a really sour taste in my mouth. It's very, like, the reason why I call this movie pretentious is the ending, which I'm not going to spoil. If there's someone watching this who has seen the movie, like, this movie has the most just throwaway garbage ending that I've seen in a long time, where it's supposed to be this really deep, metaphorical exploration of whatever, but it just completely fell flat for me. There is some, like, interesting symbology. There are interesting symbols in this movie, like you have the mountains and the ocean and stuff like that, and they mean different things to the different characters and whatever. Yeah. But it's so basic. It's so basic. I'm baffled. I don't know why people love this movie so much, because it's so basic. Just not just the plot, which is very straightforward, and there isn't really anything even to figure out in it. The characters are kind of like all the characters are just kind of nonsensical, just lost, just all over the place. And they do things that, well, I'm not, like, what the woman, like, why she does things that she does, I'm still not completely sure. But it feels like it's just nonsense to me, like the whole character, and I just don't get it. I'm moving on, but I'm using way too much time. Yeah, I have 2 copies of this movie actually. Like, this slipcover edition has some special features. I also have a Nordic Blu-ray with Finnish subtitles, so I even own 2 copies of this movie. Just happened to get the other copy some there. I probably bought a lot of a bunch of Blu-rays in a lot, and probably got that one or whatever. But yeah, Decision to Leave, I'm puzzled. I don't really know. Maybe it's a movie that will click with me later on, but at the moment, I'm feeling like a low 7 for Decision to Leave. Many people think that it's one of the best movies Parks ever made. I don't see that. Right, moving on. Well, Decision to Leave is definitely better than this one. The Swinging Cheerleaders, for something completely different. This is one of the Jack Hill movies that Arrow released. First print. And yeah, it's a very inappropriate movie. It's about high school girls who are cheerleaders, and there's some pretty explicit sexual content here, like nudity and stuff. Like this woman. This character is pretty funny. She is like a really, really inexperienced, virgin, shy, and then she turns into just a complete slut during the movie. She starts going to gangbangs and whatever. It's a 1970s movie. It's from 1974. It's from a different era. And out of all the Jack Hill movies, I think this is by far the weakest. So he did, for example, Pit Stop, which is a really fun, zero budget, like destruction derby movie. And he did Spider Baby, like a cult classic horror movie. And he did Foxy Brown, some of the Pam Grier blaxploitation movies. And yeah, he also did this, which is a cheerleader high school girl, like thriller, because there's kind of like a criminal scheme going on in the background. It's a game about sports washing, not sports washing, but sports gambling, basically, like throwing games for money and stuff like that. And then there's some cheerleaders who show their boobs. The cheerleader boobs are the best part of this movie, but everything else about it is pretty, like, it's very flat, very low budget 70s B movie. Let's just throw something together and put it like on the screen to get some money back. Very cheap production. So yeah, I'd give it probably like a 5 out of 10. It's still an enjoyable watch. It's by no means the worst trash I've ever seen, but it's up there. All right, next up, let's do it this way. Let's continue with the same theme. Nightmare Sisters. This is the Vinegar Syndrome release for that. So here are the Nightmare Sisters before they turn into succubi. Here are the succubi demon-infested sisters. This one I was very positively surprised by because I was expecting it to be like a awful Vinegar Syndrome movie, but it was actually really fun, like a really fun horror comedy. It's about first of all, the main event of this movie is that all the sisters are basically topless throughout the second half of the movie, which is great. Always encourage that. Free the nipple and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a low-budget B horror movie about these 3 girls. They are very nerdy and shy, and they want to throw a party and invite some boys over. And the boys that they invite over are the biggest nerd losers imaginable. And then for some reason, the girls turn into succubi. Like there's a succubi demon that infests them and turns them into this. Yeah, some legendary actors here. So you have, for example, Linnea Quigley. She's in a bunch of these movies, like these 1980s trash horror movies, where she's always topless. Brink Stevens and Michelle Bauer. Michelle Bauer is another one that I recognize the name because I've seen that name around. But yeah, Nightmare Sisters. It's a good time, like a respectable 6 out of 10. Right, for something completely different, let's move on to Clint Eastwood and Escape from Alcatraz. Now, this is one of those movies where before I started watching, I was kind of thinking like, have I seen it or have I not seen it? I'm pretty sure now that I watched it that I have never seen it before in its entirety at least. So it's a 1970s Clint Eastwood prison escape movie. It's pretty basic. It's your typical movie that you see on television on a Saturday evening, like after you've come out of the sauna, because I'm from Finland and we go to sauna every Saturday. It's like an event, right? Every Saturday you go to the sauna and then you eat some chips after that and watch a movie, right? So this is the type of movie that is shown on a Saturday at like 10 in the evening, or 10 at night, or 9 p.m. or whatever. And it's like a comfort food movie. It's pretty basic. Like it's not one of the great prison escape movies. Like it's not A Man Escapes by Robert Bresson. Let's just put it that way. But it's like a good prison escape movie. It's good. It has Clint Eastwood in it. It's based on a real story. Clint Eastwood is like carving a hole into his wall in his cell, and then they try to escape with a bunch of people, and you know how it goes. It's all right. It's like a basic 7 out of 10. Moving on. I didn't really know how to display these because these are from the box set, from the Child's Play Chucky box set from Arrow. So I watched Cult of Chucky and Living with Chucky, so these are from the box set. I'll just show these two because I don't want to put the whole box set on screen. These were the last 2 Chucky movies that I hadn't seen from the set. And I have to say, the entirety of the box set, really good stuff. Even the couple last ones from 2000s, I think worth checking out. Before I got the box set, I hadn't seen any of these movies in its entirety from start to finish. Of course, I know the character Chucky, and I know like the first Child's Play and stuff like that, but I hadn't seen it in its entirety. And I'm very impressed by the stuff. I absolutely love the first two Child's Play movies. Bride of Chucky is really fun. Seed of Chucky is really fun, and even the last ones are like watchable. This is a direct sequel to the one that came before this. So Curse of Chucky has a bunch of the same characters in it. I didn't know that. Had I known that, I would have watched this earlier because I had already forgotten everything about the previous movie. So the previous movie, Curse of Chucky, it's the one with the woman in a wheelchair living in this big house, and then like Chucky happens. And the same woman in a wheelchair is also here. The actress is great. She is the daughter. Let's say it here. Fiona Dourif. So it's the daughter of Brad Dourif. So the actor who plays Charles Lee Ray, the serial killer in the Child's Play movies, and then is the voice actor of Chucky because his soul gets transported into that doll, and the backstory of the character, right? So it's the daughter of the voice actor of Chucky, basically, and the original actor of the serial killer. And she is really fucking good. She's really good. I think Fiona Dourif is fantastic. Like, she has no right being that good in a movie like this. Like, this is a direct, like, this is then the sequel, kind of like to Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky. This is a direct to video movie, like very low budget. This is from 2017 or something. Yeah, 2017, direct to video. Directed by the original creator of the series, Don Mancini. And for what it is, it's actually pretty enjoyable. I kind of like Cult of Chucky. I prefer this to the last one, Curse of Chucky. So this is the second worst movie in the series. But still, I would give it like a low 6 out of 10. Yeah, you can see that it's really cheap. There are some really bad CGI effects in the movie. It looks strange. The movie has this look of a early 2000s TV show. It's from 2017. It looks like it's from 2001. Had this very, very clean, clinical, sterile look to the visuals. It's very dull, is what I'm trying to say. And it looks like a low-budget TV show from the early 2000s. But the movie is actually pretty fun. Like, there are some pretty gruesome kills here. I really like the kill with like the glass ceiling falling on top of the character. Like that one, for example. And there are some other standout moments here as well that I don't want to spoil. But yeah, Cult of Chucky, surprisingly not completely awful. And then lastly, there is the documentary Living with Chucky. So this is a feature-length documentary directed by Kyra Ellis Gardner, who is the daughter of who is she the daughter of? She's the daughter of the special effects guy, Tony Gardner. So yeah, so it's directed by the daughter of the special effects guy. These movies have great special effects with the Chucky dolls and the animatronics and everything. Of course, for Cult of Chucky, they couldn't you can't replicate it. One thing that they go into detail in the special features of these movies is that kind of how the budget for the movies was cut movie after movie after movie after movie. So then you start to see the deterioration of the special effects, because originally when you have like 9 guys operating a puppet, of course it's going to look better than when you have 6 people and then 3 people operating the puppet and stuff like that. So budget cuts affected these Chucky movies a lot, Child's Play movies a lot, and you can see them when you're watching the movies as well, like which ones got some got some money behind them and which ones didn't. But yeah, Living with Chucky is a very, very basic talking heads documentary. There are some really cool interviews here with Jennifer Tilly, for example. And you have, of course, Don Mancini, the creator of the series here. And you also have John Waters here. He was an actor in Seed of Chucky. He's in here. Actually, not just in one scene. Like they used his interview quite a bit here. Always enjoy hearing John Waters' thoughts on things because he's a maniac. And yeah, one thing that I didn't like about this documentary is that later on they started to go into the territory of very famous Hollywood actors whining about how difficult it is to make movies because you're away from your family so much and blah, blah, blah. You're a millionaire. I don't give a fuck. So that's a bit of a downer. But otherwise, cool stuff. And I really like the family feel of the documentary because you have these like father and daughter combinations with Fiona Dourif and Brad Dourif, and then the special effects guy and the woman who directed this movie, who's his daughter, and you have the relationship between Don Mancini and Fiona Dourif. It's kind of like a friendship that developed there and stuff like that. So it has a warm and fuzzy feel to it, the documentary at times. But yeah, it's like it's a talking heads documentary. So it's like a basic 6 out of 10 for me, but it's cool. Talking of 6 out of 10 movies, I also watched Snakes on a Plane for the first time ever from start to finish. Of course, I know the memes with Samuel L. Jackson, but yeah, when I saw that this was getting a Blu-ray release, of course I'm getting it. Snakes on the motherfucking Plane, man. And yeah, I watched it for the first time, and I have to say, there's safety instructions for a snake attack. There you go. Please be cautious with small pets. Ridiculous. I don't know if you're going to read the text, but that's actually pretty funny. You have here fire extinguishers located at exits can also ward off aggressive snakes. So they are really leaning into the memes, which is cool. So yeah, first time watching this, it's a ridiculous movie. Why the criminals would try to assassinate a witness by hiding a bunch of exotic snakes into the cargo and then making them be released into the plane, I have no idea. That's a really dumb idea, but it makes for a pretty damn entertaining movie. So there's that. One thing that I didn't know about this movie, that it's actually pretty damn brutal. The horror stuff here is like really horrific. The snake attacks. Of course, the snakes are CGI and they kind of look bad at times, but still, like the snakes, like they bite off people's eyes. They just wreck people. Just completely wreck people. There's carnage on the plane. The scenes with like sort of mass panic with people getting attacked by all these snakes and getting bit and eaten and everything, strangled to death. Really horrifying stuff. I wasn't expecting it to be this hardcore. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, it's like a 6 out of 10 movie. I will probably watch this again and again in the future. So there you go. Worth checking out. For anyone who's into, like, it's from 2006. So it's like for a 2000s horror movie, it's pretty hardcore because usually 2000 horror movies are pretty lame overall. Like they don't really go for it as much as they did in the 80s, for example. But this one does. So definitely worth checking out for anyone who still hasn't seen it. Oh, this... I didn't really think through this. Why have I been watching so many shitty movies? Next up, Flash Gordon. Yeah. By Mike Hodges. Yeah. The selection of movies here. Why am I ending with Charlie Chaplin movies after I talk about Flash Gordon and Snakes on a Plane? Nightmare Sisters. And like In the Aftermath. Like this is a ridiculous collection of movies. This is a ridiculous collection of movies. Like that one guy in the comment section said a while back ago, I have no taste. I can kind of agree with it here. I'm just a random YouTuber with no taste. Yeah, sure, thanks, man. Well, can't really argue with you here, considering that these movies are fucking shit. Yeah, Flash Gordon is a really fun movie, though. It's awful. It's really awful. It's a legendary trash movie. Like a childhood favorite of many people. Now, I'm not from the 80s. I was born in the 90s. This is from 1980. So I have no fond memories of Flash Gordon because I haven't seen it as a kid. Had I seen it as a kid, it probably would have been the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's a ridiculous fantasy action movie, like such a dumb movie in all possible ways. Like you have the main character here, you have Flash Gordon. He is for some reason the quarterback of the American football team New York Jets, and he gets like messed. How would you put? Why can't I speak English? I got my brain got scrambled by me realizing that I'm a no, I have no taste and I'm a hack, like that YouTube commenter said, and he's probably right. So my brain got scrambled and now I can't speak English. But yeah, Flash Gordon is a quarterback of the New York Jets, and he gets involved in this like intergalactic fantasy battle for some reason. One thing that I found very disappointing here is that Flash Gordon only uses because he's not a superhero. He's just like a football player. So his superhero skill is the football stuff. And he only uses it in one scene where he has a kind of like a ball and he starts running into people and whatever. It's like this movie is so fucking stupid. It's so dumb, but also really funny. It's really funny, really entertaining. Yeah, and then there are these flying creatures, like these flying people, these bird people. And then there's the elves in this forest or whatever. And everyone is like battling against this like, evil emperor, trying to overthrow him. Played by Max von Sydow, of all people. One of the greatest actors of all time. Known for Ingmar Bergman films like The Seventh Seal. He is here playing Ming the Merciless. Yeah. And the leader of the flying people is played by Brian Blessed. Great voice actor. And actor in general, of course, as well. But yeah, Flash Gordon, like, what on earth is this movie? Like, why? It's directed by Mike Hodges. The guy who did one of the greatest British crime movies of all time in Get Carter. He directed this 10 years later. I really don't know what to think about this movie, man. Also the soundtrack. I hate Queen. The band Queen. I've always hated Queen. Like the lyrics of Queen songs, like, wow. Indefensible. after you listen to the theme song of this movie. Indefensible. It's so bad. Like the song is so annoying. I hate Queen, and this song is everything. Like represents everything I hate about Queen. Like this sort of song with no like structure really. It's just a mess, like a free flowing mess of sounds with awful lyrics, just saying words that are just nonsense. That's my idea of a Queen song. It's a free flowing mess with the singer who just says words that don't mean anything. That's my assessment of Queen. I fucking hate Queen. I hate Queen so much. It's so bad. Oh yeah, but yeah, Flash Gordon, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 after all of this. It's one of the funniest messes I've seen in a long time. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And yeah, like it's a movie, like if you don't have a sense of humor, you're going to hate it. It's probably going to be one of the worst movies you've ever seen. But if you have a sense of humor, it does deliver a good laugh or two. So there you go. Right. Another movie here that's, well, I'm going to now again criticize a movie that's beloved. So more angry comments incoming, but I can live with that. Blood Simple by the Coen brothers. It's their first movie. And you can see that because it's very clumsy in many ways. It's kind of like a combination of all kinds of things that they would later do better. So you have this sort of dark comedy vibe to it that they did a lot better later on in Fargo, for example. You have these characters that are kind of out there, wacky, which they did a lot better later on with the dude and the other characters from Big Lebowski. Then you have like these crime thriller elements to it, which they did a lot better with, for example, Burn After Reading later on, and stuff like that. And you can like keep going and going and going. It's a collection of elements that you would recognize. Like if you watched many Coen Brothers movies, you will recognize pretty much everything that there is here. The plot is actually pretty funny. I did enjoy this movie, but it wasn't as impressive as I was hoping for. I did enjoy the plot of the movie. The plot is basically like just a series of misunderstandings. No one really knows what's going on except for the viewer, which makes it for a really frustrating but funny time to when you're watching the movie. Like it's just a series of misunderstandings and people get killed and everything. Like it's something. Again, it's probably a movie that I will rewatch later on, but I just found it like really kind of it's a movie that exists. It's by the Coen brothers. It's pretty good, but I was expecting it to be like fantastic. Like it has 5-star reviews. It has usually it's like mostly has 4-star reviews. Probably I'd give it like a 3.5, which is a 7 for me. Like a solid 7 out of 10 for Blood Simple. It makes me want to watch better Coen Brothers movies. Like, why am I watching this when I could be watching all the movies that I just mentioned before? Or I could be watching what is the movie with the hurricane? Why am I blanking on it? A Serious Man, like that one. Why am I watching Blood Simple and not that masterpiece of a movie? Right. Well, yeah, it's pretty good. Moving on to a box set. Well, it's not really a box set, but a set of movies that are not very good. Spoiler. Super Spies and Secret Lies. 3 undercover classics from Shaw Brothers. Well, classics is a bit of an overstatement, but they are undercover movies and they are from Shaw Brothers. So you have here The Golden Buddha, Angel with the Iron Fists, and The Singing Thief. So these are James Bond style like secret agent, spy espionage movies from Hong Kong. And out of these three, I would say The Singing Thief is worth checking out. The other ones, not so much. So let's talk about these in order. The Golden Buddha is a very cheap feeling spy movie. The action scenes are awful, like the fist fights. It's typical poorly choreographed action nonsense where the people aren't really hitting each other for real. It's very jarring to watch a Hong Kong movie where the characters don't know how to fight. Very strange. Because usually Hong Kong movies are very good with this stuff. These are directed by Lo Wei, I think. Yeah, Lo Wei. He directed he directed some of the. He directed, the first two are directed by Lo Wei, I think, and then one of them is directed by Zhang She. So these are like really high-profile directors. Lo Wei did like Bruce Lee stuff, right? And then Zhang She did One-Armed Swordsman and just a bunch of these sword-fighting martial arts movies. It's very jarring that these movies have bad action in them, especially the Golden Buddha. Like the people just kind of stand there and hit at one another, like one at a time, one slow punch at a time, and it's really clumsy and boring. And it's also really long. I think the Golden Buddha, it annoys me that it doesn't say here in the back cover the lengths of the separate movies. It only states it for the whole set. But I think the Golden Buddha was like an hour and 50 minutes, hour 45 minutes. And it's way too long. It should have like 15 minutes cut out of it. I do enjoy the villain. Like, these movies have these ridiculous James Bond villains with these evil genius lairs hidden underground and whatnot. But yeah, the Golden Buddha, it's about a guy who has this Buddha statue, and you have a bunch of these Buddha statues, and they there's a criminal organization trying to get them, and blah blah blah. The story is very basic, but it's like a 5 out of 10, pretty boring spy movie. Then the second one, Angel with the Iron Fists, it has better action, but however, is this the one that's like 2 hours long? How in the world are you going to tell me that? Why would you ever direct a James Bond spoof movie that is 2 hours long? It's like an hour and 30 minutes. Like, that's the sweet spot for a movie like this. That's the maximum. Hour and 35 minutes is the maximum. If you go over that, you failed. It's so slow. It's so excruciatingly slow and boring. Angel with the Iron Fists. What is the movie even about? Yeah, it's the one with stolen diamonds and the Dark Angels gang. I don't remember anything about the movie because I was just hoping for it to end. So it's like a low 5 out of 10 at best. It does have some, it has some nice imagery, let's just put it that way. And I do enjoy this focus on these female spies that the movie has. It's very different from the first movie. But yeah, the third one, that's the movie that I actually want to talk about because it's really fun. The Singing Thief. It's like a musical spy thriller because the main guy is a pop singer but also a jewel thief. His name is Jewel Poon, which is one of the most ridiculous movie names I've ever heard. Jewel Poon, or was it Diamond Poon? Oh, it's Diamond Poon, even better. Diamond Poon. That's a great name. And yeah, this guy gets accused of a crime that he didn't commit. So he is a former jewel thief who is now a pop singer, and there's a copycat criminal who is committing crimes, doing heists in his style, and then he starts to he wants to clear his name, so he goes and tries to figure out like who is the actual jewel thief, trying to copy his style and whatnot. This is actually a really fun movie. I really appreciate this one. So that's cool. The Singing Thief, definitely worth checking out. And then next up, I'm running out of battery, so I'll try to finish this as quickly as possible. The Other. This is a horror movie from the 1970s, released by Eureka. It has a gimmick to it that I don't want to spoil. I didn't know if, at first when I was watching the movie, I thought it was very generic, but then I figured out, wait, this is from the 1970s, or early 1970s. Is there any movie out there that has this gimmick before it? And from what I can find online, no, this is the first one. So this is the originator of this style of horror movie. So the OG. So I can't really call it generic, but yeah, it's an interesting horror movie, more on the psychological horror side. It has this little kid in the main role and his like twin brother and stuff like that, and people start dying around them. It's an interesting one. So the Other, 8 out of 10. Moving on very quickly before I run out of battery. I should probably try to record all of my videos with the battery running out, because it would make me go faster. Next up, another movie in the same vein. What Have You Done to Solange? This is a giallo murder mystery movie. It's very giallo-like in the sense that this story, the plot kind of picks up in the second half of the movie. The first part is like there are these young women getting killed and you're trying to figure out who's the killer, like in a giallo. But then in the second half, Solange is introduced as a character and you don't really hear about her at all in the first half. And then it turns into this kind of trying to figure out what happened to Solange and not necessarily the other girls, because Solange is still alive, but something happened to her. So you have to figure out what happened to her in order to figure out what happened to the girls that have been killed. And it's very interesting. One of the best giallo I've seen, like on par with Argento movies. And this is directed by Massimo Dallamano. So definitely interested in checking out more movies by him. And then lastly, let's quickly talk about Charlie Chaplin. So this 4-movie collection, I have 4 movies here that I watch. Limelight I've seen before, but The Kid, The Gold Rush, The Circus, and Modern Times. So, never seen these before. I've seen a bunch of Chaplin movies. Limelight in particular is one of my favorites, but these ones I hadn't seen before. The Kid is one of the early ones. It's a 50-minute comedy movie about it's Charlie Chaplin as the tramp, which is his character that he plays in many of these movies. The tramp, he finds a abandoned baby and then slapstick shenanigans ensue. It's a pretty fun movie. I'd give it like a solid 8 out of 10. As well as I would The Other and What Have You Done to Solange. So, ending on a positive note. The Gold Rush. Unfortunately, this is a Nordic set, only has the 1940s version of the movie with the voiceover and the edited contents. So it says here on the back cover that this is from 1925. Yes, the original movie, but not this version. So I have to seek out the 40s version of The Gold Rush because I want to see the silent version of it. The voiceover version of this is not very good. The voiceover is pretty bad. It's done by Chaplin himself, but he just hasn't... he does all of the characters. And he doesn't even do voices, so he's just speaking to himself in the scenes in this really flat voice. So The Gold Rush, unfortunately, this version of it, 7 out of 10 at best, a low 7 out of 10, didn't really enjoy it. There are some standout moments in it, like the scene with the house on a cliff, going to tip over the cliff and fall into fall off the cliff. And I ran out of battery, so here I am back again, continuing, like 40 minutes later, because I was watching a YouTube video while waiting for my phone to charge. What was I even talking about? I can't remember. Something about Chaplin. I guess I just finished talking about the gold rush, so I'll continue with the circus. So luckily for the circus, there's only one version, so I don't have to worry about watching an inferior version of the movie, like with the Gold Rush. The circus I thought was exceptionally fun. Now, I don't like the circus as a concept, the clowns and stuff. I just don't know what people see in circuses that's enjoyable. Well, I guess they have elephants. That's cool. And lions and whatever. But, for Charlie Chaplin, the circus is a perfect way of showcasing his slapstick comedy style. And it is utilized, like the setting of the circus is utilized here, because of course it's utilized in a brilliant manner. Because of course, Charlie Chaplin as the tramp, he's just sleeping in a wheelbarrow, or wheelbarrow, something like that. He's just sleeping there, and is discovered by the owner of the circus and offered a job, because that's how it, I guess, used to work in like 1920s. You just fall asleep in a random place and find yourself employment. That's cool. And he becomes the new main attraction of the circus as this bumbling fool who's just falling over himself and causing mayhem. There are some incredible scenes in this movie, like the scene where Charlie Chaplin is locked in a lion pen. He's actually there with the lion. Crazy stuff. And my favorite scene is the one where he is filling in for the guy who walks on wires. And he's just up there doing the wire walk, and then a bunch of monkeys go up and they start biting his face and his legs while he's trying to balance on the rope, like tightrope. And just crazy stuff, so much fun. So yeah, the circus, that's a good one, like a 9 out of 10. But then we get to the real masterpieces. Modern Times. Limelight is my favorite Chaplin movie. It's not even a comedy. I'm not going to talk about it here because I've seen it years ago and I didn't rewatch it now, but I'll probably rewatch it at some point. Modern Times. Now that takes everything to a whole new level. The set designs, the machinery, just the cinematography in and of itself. Like, these movies are The Kid, Gold Rush, Circus, Modern Times. These are all not just comedy movies. They have lots of themes. They have lots of social commentary behind them. Modern Times is probably the most explicit about that out of all these movies. So Chaplin plays this factory worker who goes insane, falls into the machine. What a great sequence. I've seen that sequence many times. I didn't know that it lasts only like 10 seconds. I thought it would be a longer portion of the movie, but very cool stuff. And just the opening section of the movie in the factory, where Chaplin is just causing mayhem, wrecking the machinery, like firing oil at people's faces from this pump, and just flying around the metal chains high up and everything. It is so incredible. It's so incredible. The stunt work, the set designs, the choreography, just the opening gag of Chaplin working on the like this conveyor belt line, fastening these bolts, like the rhythm that he does it with, and then he goes insane and tries to fasten the nipples of some women, whatever. It's so dumb. It's so dumb, but it's so much fun. And then the movie goes into some other directions where you have the most beautiful homeless lady of all time. I can't remember the name of the actress. It's a very famous actress, Hollywood actress, like an unbelievably beautiful woman who's just wearing rags and no shoes on. And of course, she falls in love with Chaplin, and they want to start a family. They want to live the American dream, but they are homeless, and they live in this shack that's broken down. And she's trying to pretend that she's this homemaker, like housewife, tradwife, as the kids call them today. And yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's really fun. Like an all-time classic, 10 out of 10 masterpiece, modern times. So there you go. There's 4 Chaplin classics. Now, to end the video, I have 2 more movies here that I'll quickly mention, because I don't have physical copies of these movies. I will get both of these at some point, but not currently. So I watched the movie At Close Range, which does have a recent Blu-ray release, both in North America. Who released it? I can't remember. Vinegar Syndrome? Probably not. Someone else. Probably. I can't remember. But in the UK, Arrow released a Blu-ray and 4K of this. It's a crime thriller. It's not really thriller. For a thriller, it's one of the least thrilling thrillers I've seen in a long time. But it has Christopher Walken in it and Sean Penn in it. So there's some big A-list actors involved. At Close Range. I thought it was pretty mediocre, pretty damn boring. It's a movie about Christopher Walken being an awful father and Sean Penn being an awful kid, awful child. And they're just, low-rent criminals. I thought the movie would have more heists and more crime in it, but it's mostly just, it's like a slow burn Americana movie. It's like a mood piece, sort of white trash, Southern Americana mood piece. And overall, it's so unbelievably slow and boring. And it just doesn't really go anywhere interesting either. And Sean Penn is very good at playing assholes, because he seems like a complete twat in real life as well. He's very good at that. I don't have anything against his acting performance here. He does a good job. Same with Christopher Walken. He's always great. His character in this movie reminded me a lot of the character he plays in King of New York, the Abel Ferrara movie, where he's this kind of a crime boss, but not really impressive in any way, and just insane, violent criminal. Yeah, At Close Range, I'd give it like a low 6 out of 10. It's all right. Very forgettable. And then I'll end with a hidden gem of a movie. It's an obscure one, let's put it that way. There is a DVD for this that has English subtitles on it. So if someone is watching this and is interested in seeing this movie, you can probably get that DVD for pretty cheap. Like a B region DVD. This is a Finnish made-for-television movie called Gourmet Club. So Gourmet Club. It's from the early 2000s. It's a black comedy kind of it's a farce. It's like a black comedy farce movie Also has some psychological thriller elements to it. It's about this exclusive club for men. There's only like 5 or 6 members, and they are extremely wealthy, and they have this club where they eat food together, and every week one of them comes up with like a mystery ingredient that is then used by this high-end restaurant chef to cook a meal out of. And then everyone else in the club has to guess what the secret ingredient is, and whoever guesses correctly gets a pot of money. And of course, one of the members comes up with this ingredient that everybody falls in love with, but no one can guess what it is. And then this person uses that as kind of a tool to get a lot of money and stature within the group and whatever. It's an interesting movie. It has the premise of a horror movie, but it's not really a horror movie. I mean, it does kind of go into a horror adjacent place at times, but for the most part, it's just a really, really funny, dry black comedy. It's very Finnish, very Nordic. It has that sense of comedy that, for example, Aki Kaurismäki movies have, or in Sweden, someone like Roy Andersson, where it's really dark and inappropriate, but also like really hilariously funny at times. And yeah, it's like for a made-for-a-TV movie, it's like 65 minutes long. It's very short. It's very good. It's very entertaining. I'd give it like a high 8 out of 10, maybe even a low 9 out of 10. Gourmet Club. It's directed by a guy called Vuolijoki. That last name is very recognizable because one of the main theater writers and directors from like 1940s, Hella Vuolijoki, has the same last name. And the director here does have a relation to this very famous modernist era playwright, politician also, Hella Vuolijoki. So that's an interesting connection. Some trivia there. But that's it. I'll have to, fuck my life. I have to edit this video now because I ran out of battery. I could have done all of this in one take, but now I have to stitch the opening part and now this ending part together and whatever. It takes like 5 minutes, but it's really annoying. But yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on these movies. I'll be back again next week for something else. Thanks for watching and see ya.